I've done a few videos about exploring tourist sites in Istanbul, but in this one I would like to show less visited places. We start with Beşiktaş district, as my initial thought was to visit Yedikule Fortress, which was closed at that moment, so we will visit another one later in this video. The ferry is a mode of public transportation and one of my favorite ways to travel in Istanbul. There is something special about crossing the Bosphorus or riding up the Golden Horn on one of the City Lines ferries. Fatih is a central district of Istanbul, known as Historical Peninsula, and hosts most of tourist attractions, including Topkapi Palace, Hagia Sophia, Blue Mosque and Grand Bazaar. But now we are going to visit Rüstem Paşa Mosque, a smaller miniature of a blue mosque, located in an old and busy market area of Spice Bazaar, built in the 16th century and well known for its beautiful tiles covering the entire walls. University of Istanbul is a prominent public research university founded by Mehmed II in the 15th century, a day after the conquest of Constantinople by the Turks. It was reformed as the first Ottoman higher education institution, influenced by European approaches. Istanbul University is constantly ranked first in Turkey and among the top 500 universities in the world, with almost 10,000 students from 143 different countries. The Suleymaniye Mosque is an Ottoman imperial mosque located on the third hill of Istanbul, built in the 16th century on the orders of and named after Sultan Süleyman the Magnificent. It was designed by Sinan, one of the great architects of his time, and considered a masterpiece of Ottoman architecture. The Süleymaniye was the fourth imperial mosque built in Istanbul, with more than 3,500 workers labored on the building. The mosque's four minarets, with their 10 beautiful balconies, are said to represent the fact that Suleiman was the fourth of the Osmani sultans to rule the city, and the 10th sultan after the establishment of the empire. Suleiman specified that his mosque complex should have a public kitchen to feed the poor, seminary, several Islamic schools, hammam, hospital, and lodging for traveling dervishes. Suleiman's intention was to build a mosque that would surpass all others built by his predecessors. Suleiman appears to have represented himself at times as a second Solomon, and his construction projects in both Jerusalem and Istanbul appear to reflect this. Architecturally, Suleiman's mausoleum built behind the mosque references to the Dome of the Rock, which was built on the site of the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem. The cemetery is the home of the octagonal tomb of his wife Roxalana, with exquisite surrounding tile work. Yedikule Public Cemetery is located in front of Yedikule Fortress, one of Istanbul's historical landmarks. It dates from the late 4th century, when the Roman Emperor Theodosius the Great built a triumphal arch here. Under the Byzantines, the Great Arch became known as the Golden Gate and was used for triumphal state processions into and out of the city. For a time its gates were indeed plated with gold, and the doorway was eventually sealed in the late Byzantine period. 4 of the fortress' 7 towers were built as a part of Theodosius' walls. The other 3 were added by the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror, fully enclosing a section of the ancient walls of Constantinople. In Ottoman times, the fortress was used for a defense, as a repository for the imperial treasury, that was later transferred to the inner section of the Topkapi Palace in the 16th century, and thereafter 7 towers became the prison of prestigious captives. Yedikule Fortress was frequently used as a state prison, and ambassadors of states currently at war with the Ottoman Empire were usually imprisoned within its walls. The fortress also housed prisoners who were victims of palace intrigue and infighting, as well as political opponents of the imperial court. Among Yedikule's most notable prisoners was the young Sultan Osman II, who was imprisoned and executed there during a revolt of Janissary Corps. In 1768, the entire Russian embassy staff was imprisoned here, making the Ottomans' declaration of war on Russia. During the Napoleonic Wars, the fortress was prison of many French prisoners, including the right-hand diplomat François Bouqueville, who was detained there for more than 2 years. The last prisoner was held in Yedikule as late as 1837. Balat is a charming historic neighborhood that filled with colorful streets, rich cultural heritage, vibrant art, food scene, and lively nightlife. It offers a unique blend of old and new, and it became home to a wide variety of ethnicities, cultures, and religions. A large Jewish population was grown fast in Balat in the 15th century, when Sultan Bayezid II offered citizenship to Jews and Muslims fleeing the Inquisition in Spain and Africa. Balat also welcomed people from many other nationalities, including those from Greek, Armenian, and Romani backgrounds. Today, Balat is predominantly Muslim. However, the spirit of welcoming people from diverse backgrounds has continued, with newer residents arriving from Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Egypt. The Rahmi Koc Museum is a private industrial museum dedicated to the history of transport, industry, and communications. Founded by the head of the Koç Industrial Group, one of Turkey's most prominent conglomerates, it exhibits artifacts from Istanbul's industrial past and is highly interactive. Most of the items exhibited in the museum are selected from Rahmi Koc private collection. Other objects are either borrowed from or donated by various organizations and individuals and present road and rail transport, marine, aviation, engineering, communications, and scientific instruments. Twilight in Istanbul isn't just an end to the day, but the beginning of an enchanting adventure. As the city lights reflect off the Bosphorus, locals and visitors alike prepare to dive into the vibrant nightlife that this historical metropolis offers. For those who thrive in lively environments, Beaglou district is a must visit. Those bustling pedestrian streets come alive at night with its myriad shops, cafes, bars, and street performances. Whether you're sipping tea under the shadow of ancient minarets or dancing away in the lively nightclub, Istanbul at night promises wonders that daylight can only dream of.